We had a very clear vision from day one, which was to make British skeleton the #1 nation in the world. Why would you throw yourself headfirst down an ice track at 85 miles an hour with your chin 1 inch off the ice? We wanted to become the first nation to win medals at back-to-back games, which we did with Shelley Rudman in Torino in 2006 after Alex's bronze in Salt Lake City. Then Amy Williams went one better in Vancouver in 2010, being the first female gold medalist in an individual sport for as long as anybody can remember. And then Lizzy going back-to-back gold medals in Sochi and Pyeongchang. We're the only British winter sport that's medalled at every games during that period, and we're the only skeleton nation to have won a medal at every games. You get this collection of individuals who are searching for a sporting purpose, probably in their late teens, early 20s, who come together, who travel the world, who do this wacky, crazy sport. Why would you throw yourself headfirst down an ice track at 85 miles an hour with your chin 1 inch off the ice? So it brings this collective sense of belonging and purpose.
Before I came into the programme, I was riding full-time. I was running an equestrian business from home and competing in eventing, and that was my first love. It was what I'd grown up with, and that's what I imagined myself doing until Girls for Gold came along and changed everything.
My dream was to be an Olympian in athletics, and it was a real shame that I wasn't good enough. And it was really weird to get the letter back saying that I'd been selected to potentially be good at a sport I'd never heard of.
I just thought, you know what, I've got this far, I'll just do my best and everything, and that sort of inner competitiveness came out.
When I first started out, there wasn't a talent ID process like there is now, and where athletes now get maybe a year or so's experience before they enter a race. They selected me, and then my next experience on ice was the Europa Cup race.
We're looking for the world's fastest starters. Then we're trying to look at how quickly people can learn, because we only get a certain number of runs compared to other nations.
Having no track's actually been quite helpful, because you manage to be more efficient with your time and you go with targeted questions.
The fact that we have constraints, the fact that we are a non-ice nation, the fact that we have to do things differently, make us creative and make us smart and make us efficient about the way we go about our business.
We had to plan, do review, be very detailed in our planning, and no run is just for the sake of doing it.
We try things because we don't get many opportunities to do that, and no run is left without a purpose.
When you look at something differently, you see the opportunities, and I think that's something that the programme and everybody who's worked in it has always done really well, and it's a really simple formula.
And we just keep applying that formula relentlessly, and that's why we're so good now and will be so good for many, many years to come.
We've got a great innovations team, that team on the tech side, and then on the sports science, sports medicine side, we're always driving and always trying to find those little wins.
It's really important, and it's one of the things that I think we're strongest at in terms of making sure that we don't leave any stone unturned, and we kind of keep pushing, keep progressing regardless of our previous successes that we've had.
The overarching thing which makes us very successful is the fact that we have a great team approach. Even though it's an individual sport, we operate as a team, we have team values, and when we go out and compete, we're competing against the track, really. You know, it doesn't feel like it's, one against the other necessarily.
In order to make this work, we are going to work as a team. If you want to go out there and work on a limb on your own and try and figure everything out yourself, then good luck to you, because ultimately, with the lack of having a track here, with all the things that are against us as a nation, it's just not going to be possible.
Even like with my coaches and stuff, I feel like we're a really good team and we work well together.
It doesn't matter who's on the podium, as long as there's a Great Britain flag being raised.
You know, so many races come down to 100th of a second. I absolutely went for it on that last run. So it was Janine to come down to finish the race. And Laura and I were stood next to each other watching this little TV screen. And you're watching. And I realised, okay, I'm in for a medal here, I'm in for a medal, I'm in for a gold medal here.
A lot of it's a blur, but I have a really strong memory of being in the call room just after the race had finished, waiting to do the immediate podium bit and saying to Lizzy, this doesn't feel real. I feel like any minute now someone's going to tap me on the shoulder and say there's been some kind of mistake.
It was a really emotional moment of realising that we had started the sport together 10 years ago. We'd met, never heard of skeleton, and somehow we'd been able to be on the same Olympic podium.
It sounds like a cliche, but how often do people get to stand on an Olympic podium with one of their best friends?
It's never been easy. This sport is tough. You know, you're pulling 5-6 Gs at 85 miles an hour with your chin 1 inch off the ice, day in, day out. You're carrying around a sled that can weigh 30 odd kilograms. You're doing it yourself. It's manual lifting. You're traveling in vans for hours on end around Europe. You're on long flights, sat in the back of the plane to get to North America to compete. You know, this is not easy. It's not for the faint-hearted.
Nobody does this to take part. Nobody does this for fun. You do this to try and be the best of the best. I think it's just like an internal sort of like fire that you have to achieve, well, great things that in the programme that they have done before, and hopefully I'll be working my way towards that.
The size of what we've achieved in the last 15 years is phenomenal. And then when you kind of put the context that as a sport, we have no given right to be in that place. It's kind of, I feel quite proud to have been part of that, to be honest.